Hello, everyone. Welcome back to 100 Days of Coding with Derrick-Redeemer. This is day 15 of our coding journey. In the previous lesson, we learned about HTML tables, including rows. So what you can see on the screen here, the rows, that's a horizontal one, running from left to right. Then we also talk about columns as well, running from top to down or down to top. Then we also talk about headers and captions. The headers, this one here. Then we also talk about the captions. We talk about the table data, the data in what in the table. We talk about all this one here. Today we are starting a very important topic in web development. That's HTML forms introduction. HTML forms introduction. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to understand or explain what an HTML form is. Understand why forms are used. Identify forms on websites. Create a website HTML form. Understand the purpose of the form tag. So we are supposed to create something similar to this one on the screen here. This one here on the screen. Yeah, this one on the screen. You are supposed to create something similar to that. All right. So now let's start. What is an HTML form? When you talk about an HTML form is a section of a web page that allows users to enter information. So it allows you to enter your information or your details on the web page. Forms are used whenever a website needs information from the user. You are the user. No one else is a user. For example, creating an account. That's maybe you are creating Facebook account or TikTok account, any account at all. Logging into a website. So for example, let me use this one for example. Let's say I log. So here I have access your students, instructor or admin dashboard. So we have email here, then we have password here as well. Then contacting a company, like something similar to this. You are contacting a company. Then registering for an event, searching for information. Without forms, website will not be able to collect information from a user or from users. Think about some websites you use every day. When you log into a social media account, you enter your username. So your username, that's Facebook or TikTok, email, password. That is what a form. That's just what a form. When you create a new account on a website, that is also what a form. So something like this, you created. So let's come here. Let's say I created a new account. So here I'm creating a new account. It's also called a form. All right. Forms are everywhere on the internet. Everywhere you find yourself on the internet, you can find a form. Now let's look at this real world life example. A real life example. Imagine walking into a school to register a new student. The teacher asks, "What is your name? How old are you? Which class do you want to join?" You write all the answers on your registration sheet, like or a paper. That registration sheet is basically a form. HTML forms work exactly the same way. The website asks for information and the user provides you are the user. Now, why are we supposed to use a form? Why is it important for us to use a form? Forms helps websites to collect user information, receive feedback, process registrations, handle logins and signups, allow communication between users and on the website or the company. Right. Without forms, websites will simply display information and never interact with users. So now, since we know what a form is, let's go to our code editor. So this is our code editor. Here. So here we are going to look at the form tag. The form tag is less than then form. Form then you close it less than using greater than sign. This one here is the open tag for the form, and this one is the closing tag for the form as well. All right. Think of the form tag as a container. So this is just the container. This is just container that holds the information. Just as the table tag contains everything inside a table, the form tag contains everything inside the form as well. All right. So you have created a form tag. So this one here, this particular one here, let me explain this one here. This creates an empty form because there is nothing inside. If you open it in the browser, you won't see much because there is nothing inside it yet. There is nothing inside this particular one here. So if you open the browser, it will not show. All right. So imagine building. So let's look at some real life example here. Imagine building a classroom. Before students can enter, the classroom must exist. Similarly, before we add test fields, buttons, checkboxes, or drop-down menus, we must first create the form items or itself. The form itself. We must first create the form tags first. So we'll talk about the drop-down menu and so on in the as we move on. The form is the foundation. Everything else goes inside of this particular one. Everything goes inside this tag, this particular tag. Everything goes inside. All right. Forms are made up of different parts. Some examples include text input fields, password fields. So, for example, this particular one here, we have a text input field. So, text input field here. Then we have an email field, this place. Then we have radio buttons, the buttons, these ones. We also have radio buttons, checkboxes, drop down menus, text areas. We will learn all of this step by step in the coming lessons. Today's goal is simply to understand what forms are and why we must use them. Why we must what? Use them. So let's look at some simple form structure here. Some simple form structure. So here I'm going to create a new file. So let's say day 15. Yes, day 15 dot html dot html dot html. All right. So we are done. Let's create our head. Our head. So our head. So in the head, we are going to create what? A title. So title. In the title, let's say my first form. Let's name it that with my first form. My first form. Yes. So another head, you are going to get what? You are going to create what? The body. So the body. So body. So in the body, here we are going to create what? Our empty form. So form, we are going to create what? Our empty what? Form. All right. This is just what? The foundation of every HTML form. The foundation of every HTML form. All right. Now let's also look at something here. So understanding the action attribute, you may sometimes see forms like this. So let's say this one. So this is a form. This particular one here. Then you have what? Action. Then is equal to this, something like this. So the action here, this particular action, this one here, the action attribute tells the form where to send the information after user was submitted. The action form, this particular one here, it tells what? The form where to send the information after what? The user submits what? The form. Don't worry too much about it for now. We will learn more about it later. For now, just know that it helps the form know where the data should go. Now, let's look at some common mistakes we make. So mistake one, forgetting the opening form tag. We forget what the opening form was tag. So let's assume there's no what action here. So let me clear this one from here. There's no action here. Yeah. So sometimes you forget this particular one here. You forget that particular one. So forgetting what the opening what form tag. We sometimes write it this way. Input, type, then we add what our text. So something like this. So we'll talk about this one. So input, let's say type, the type, then equal to, let's say text. Always place form element inside what? A form. Place form what? Element inside what? A form. You sometimes forget what? Close the form tag as well. So this one here, this particular one. So let me add my action back and delete this one from here. Yes, this one. You sometimes forget what? To close it. Instead of bringing the forward slash, we bring only this one. We introduce only this one. Pick this one. Meaning it is not what? A closing form tag. That's what open form what? Tag. So let me close it back. All right. Mistake 3. Trying to build a complete form immediately. As a beginner, we have to try what? Building the form step by step. You don't need to rush. We start what? Small. Learn one form element at what? A time. So if you see this video to be short, don't worry. We are going to learn more about it. I only want the video to be what? Short, so that you can have time to watch the videos. All right. So here we are going to create something like this. So just this one. We are going to create a form structure down. This is what we are going to use in the next videos. We'll be using this in the next videos. All right. So today we learn what an HTML form is, why forms are important, real life examples of forms. We look at how forms are used in the various field. Then the form tag, then the basic structure of what of the form, the purpose of the action attribute, the purpose of what the action what attribute. Well, as we said, what the action attribute tells the form where to send the information after the user submits what it. Congratulations. Today we took our first step into HTML forms. Forms are one of the most important parts of web development because they allow websites to collect information from users. Remember, the form tag, this one here, the form tag. So the form tag is the foundation of every HTML form. In the next lesson, we'll begin adding actual forms elements by learning about text input fields, email input fields, password input fields. Thank you for joining the 15 of 100 days of coding with Derrick-Redeemer. Keep learning, keep practicing, and keep coding. See you in the 16. Happy coding.